scam somebody or manipulate somebody, you're gonna choose like majority of these people, and I'm just like, I'm not built to be here. Welcome to today's video. I actually recorded this video before, and wait, let me get my hair. Yeah, so I actually recorded this video before, but there's always that one piece. Wait, I need to get new braids. I feel like I said that like already today, but it's true.
PSA, please excuse my hair in the front. I am trying a new edge control and it does not show up well on camera, and it just looks super reflective and like it looks like I have dandruff and I don't.
Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about my mentor scam, because they are really out here trying to use people for their own benefit or whatever. And the amount of scams that I've seen on LinkedIn, like, oh, especially they really try to get college students, especially if you're like looking for an internship and stuff like that, or you just recently graduated. Be careful, because they're really out here trying to get you. Like, I've seen all types of like emails and messages. It's just no thank you. I like legit positions, legit opportunities. Yeah, but today I want to talk about my mentorship scam, because there's a fly that's in my room right now, and I just like, oh. So it all started out when I was on LinkedIn, and I received this message from this person. They were like, oh my gosh, like I feel like you would be a good candidate for my mentorship program. And so I was just like, okay, because I was like looking for a job, because like I graduated last year, right? And so I'm just like looking for the thing, because I did things backwards, because like I was like in college during the pandemic, so a lot of people actually graduated without even doing an internship, because yeah, everything was like shut down, so people don't have as many opportunities. There are some people that do, but it really just depends. Yeah, but yeah, I was just one of those people that just didn't have like a lot of like experience that I could like use to market myself better. But it's not that I don't have like knowledge. And yeah, the mentor person that reached out to me, like, they're a man, and when I got one to the Zoom call to like get to know, we were doing our first interviewing process, then that's when like his wife was also there too, and they were like, yes, we actually mentor people and we like to get to know them and to make sure that they are great candidates for our program. And I was just like, okay, cool. So this was basically like an asset-based income kind of thing. So like they were like, oh, we're gonna teach you like asset-based income and stuff like that, and how to like make passive income. And I was just like, okay, because like I didn't major in finance or anything, but I'm just like, I was like, well, there's like, you know, I love like learning new things, but like seriously. But here's the thing, like I was like, okay, so they were like, okay, there's going to be 10 interviewing sessions, so like over the past few weeks, then they're going to decide like what's gonna happen, like if like, you know, because like maybe I might feel like this is not a good fit for me, and they might feel like I'm not a good fit for them, kind of like that thing. But I'm like, really, 10 sessions? But there's literally jobs that actually do that, so it's not like super insane, but it's really annoying though, because it's like you want the person to work for you or be a part of your program or not. Like, you don't need to do 35,000 sessions to know that. And I also thought it was really weird too, because like they don't want to know any like background information. Like, yeah, like they were like, oh my gosh, like what did you like major in? It's like, oh yeah, I majored in communication and I have a minor in women and gender studies. Yeah, because like you need to connect and understand people in order to market to them. Like, it doesn't matter what you're selling, whether you're selling a service or a product, you need to understand your target audience. So hello. So the first few meetings actually was more of like a get to know you kind of thing, and then I read like 2 books. Like, honey, I read the audio because yeah. So the first book was like The Giver, and it was actually a really cool book. I actually really liked that book, and it was basically talking about how like this guy, he was like struggling in business, and he felt like he was about to be fired because he wasn't making his quota, because he was in like accounting, something like that. Like, yeah, he was in that. And so he wasn't like, you know, getting his deals, and he just hasn't made his quota. So he went to like this guy in the office, and long story short, it was just, the book was basically showing how a bunch of people connected, and they're from like different industries, and like, you know, started from different points, and they like met like people that like helped them like advance in their career to like the point they're now owners, and just stuff like that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like this was actually a good book, and like, you know, really cool. And then the next book was like Rich Dad Poor Dad, but it was like an old version. They actually had real information in there. But see, here's the thing though, the fact that they didn't want to know like anything from like they didn't want to know too much about the past. They didn't even care if you had a job or not. And I was just like, I'm trying to get a job, so like something I can use my degree with, because I'm like, yeah, I have things to do, things I want to do, and places I want to go. So like let's get a move on. And yeah, okay, so it was like the fourth meeting or so. Like everything was virtual, so nothing was in person. But the first meeting, like I remember like I was saying like, oh yeah, I graduated college early and stuff like that. And then the lady, she was like, oh yeah, it's like we have like a daughter that's like around your age too, and she was actually going to leave school early, but she but like they like basically like recommended that she stay in school and add some more classes on, like especially like tech-based courses, because everybody knows like, you know, tech is like high demand. There's a lot of stuff high demand, especially liberal arts majors. Like, do you know how many people I came into, I took this one class actually, and they were like former Purdue students, and they were like, oh my gosh, like liberal arts majors are in high demand, like we're not really looking for engineers right now, we're looking for liberal arts majors. And they were like, where are these opportunities? Because like I want to know, because it was just like super interesting. It was like, but they said, and then I read all these job descriptions, and then they're like, oh yeah, we're looking for this person, and then they're saying that they're like, no thank you, like yeah, we're looking for, we have chosen to go forward with another option. I'm like, okay, like I'm just curious to know who these options are, because I'm like is it like a family friend? Yeah, but their daughter like added on some extra classes, because I believe she was doing like business management, and she added some tech stuff to her. I think she was double majoring too. But anyway, yeah, long story short, she said that when she like graduated, before she even graduated, like she had opportunities lined up, like people actually wanted them to come work for her. And so she was saying that it's like not always like best to just like jump out of like school, like sometimes you should just stay in there and you should add more stuff to your skill set, your knowledge, you know. And I was like thinking about that too, because I was like, oh my gosh, like because I was like thinking like I moved everything up because we were having like housing issues and stuff like that, because it's like, where am I going to live? I didn't find anywhere to live, and so I just like stayed on campus for the summer. And then I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna like move up my graduation. Like I made this decision like spring of 2022. Like I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I could have stayed a few months and like did like some extra like tech classes or whatever. Even if I like stayed until like the end, because like I was always going to like graduate a semester early at least. But so I ended up graduating technically a year early since I finished August. Here's the thing though, I always felt like I was going to like do something like really unique. So yeah, like I have a unique like skill set anyway, and like social media and stuff, like how many people are you gonna find that have been observing social media since 2013? Like it's so new, like be for real. be for real. Like, do you not know how much of an asset that is to you? And then like to constantly be able to see how everything is evolving and has evolved. Like, it went from like a fun thing to do to now it's like everybody and their mother is trying to use it to market their business. We are in the land of virtual business. You mean tell me that you don't want that for your business? You don't want that knowledge? Like, okay, like, I guess. But yeah, but see, here's the thing though too, a lot of people are faking it until they make it. Like, people will literally tell you this on TikTok, that like they're in high positions, and you can actually tell because I read job descriptions and I'm just like, you guys don't know like what you really want or need. Like, you're just saying a bunch of stuff in this description that you're trying to attract people with, and it's just like, okay. But like that's how you accidentally pass up on a lot of people, especially using AI to use specific keywords for your position, when there's multiple variations of vocabulary words that mean like the same or similar things. But they had like some there was some like information that I learned from there. I really didn't think that I was gonna like do the whole mentorship program, but I just wanted to stay on and see. But like the thing that like really like kind of annoyed me was like the lady had like an example. Oh, the second book was talking about, oh, okay, the second book, let's do this. I'm going like all over the place, but it's like really relevant. But the second book was the Rich Dad Poor Dad, but it was like an older version, and not the one that like everybody and their mother's like talking like, oh my gosh, you need to read Rich Dad Poor Dad, like everybody. Yeah, it was in that one. But it actually did have like information in there, because like during the pandemic, like all we were doing was like researching and stuff, and like people were bored. Like you were advancing at some type of skill, like be for real. Like you were either working out or you were starting a business or something, or research. I was a researcher. So here's the thing though. So this mentorship is about like asset-based income, right? But in this book, they were talking about how in this book, they said some information. I had a call. So in the book, they said some information that came up, and like one of the YouTubers I was watching, like he talks about like, you know, spiritual stuff and like finance. Like he knows his stuff, and like you can literally research this too. Like it's not a secret, it's research. I was just like, huh, this was so interesting, because they were talking about how the US dollar hasn't been backed by the gold standard since like the 70s, and I was just like, oh my gosh, so you're talking about the okay, so I just had that in the back of my mind, and I was just like, you know what, like, okay. One moment. I had another call. Anyway, yeah, so I was just like, okay, wait a minute. So if the US dollar is not backed by the gold standard, the only thing that's like keeping it meaningful is your implied meaning to that dollar. Because like it technically doesn't have any like worth to it, which is so interesting, because like in anthropology we were actually learning about the different forms of currency in like different societies. Like one society had like potatoes were actually a form of currency. Like their wealthiest person was it was this society, like they had like their currency was like different between the men and the women of their tribe. So the men had like sweet potatoes, that was their currency. So the man that had the most or could grow the most, he was the richest. I believe this was the same society that had like the women banana leaves were their currency. So the lady that had the most banana leaves, she was the wealthiest. But see, it's just like, we have potatoes all the time, but like we don't see them as currency. But it doesn't, anything can be currency as long as you have like a group of people with the same implied meaning towards this object. Like we could collect hair ties. The person with the most hair ties could be the wealthiest if you have an implied, oh my gosh. if you have like the implied meaning towards it. But okay, so fast forward to one of the things that like kind of like really annoyed me was when, because this is basically like business and finance based, so like that's typically, they were like, typically we have like we mentor people that are like in those fields, but like it could technically be anyone though. And so I was asking if my grandmother could like attend some of the meetings too, and then they were like because it was like around the third meeting, the third or fourth meeting I asked this question. And yeah, it was like the third meeting I believe, because I was like kind of curious. Like I love hearing like different opinions and state of minds about certain like topics. So like why would you like not like do that? And they were like, oh well, you've like done you've read like 2 books at this point and all this stuff, just basically like saying like, oh no, like she could technically like join, like there's no age limit, but like you did all this work and it wouldn't really be fair to you, kind of thing, nor would she like understand what is going on. And I'm just like, but she has a business degree. And then like they were like saying, well, we don't want you to like get confused and start taking other people's opinions. How come every time when you like, I don't know, I just noticed a lot of people like assume that like if you're asking for another person's perspective on a situation, that you're just gonna blindly jump in and agree with that person without any form of logic backing why, you know, anything for you to change your like opinion or perception. Like I just feel like that's like really like messed up. I just didn't like that. And then like they were just spend like a really long time trying to explain why, and I was like, okay, just say no because she hasn't completed the required assessments for the program or whatever. Like, okay, fine, that's cool, but I just want to see her perspective on it because she literally like majored in this stuff. Like, yeah, it just would have been really fun. Like I love doing stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff, if you guys see my TikTok, like you will literally see me talking about like pretty much everything under the sun, like spiritual topics, politics. I just uploaded a politics video today about like Donald Trump and like the things that he says, but like Donald Trump but like Donald Trump's like all over like the political like spectrum, like historically, like, you know, and he's like deemed a conspiracy theorist. But at the same time, I was talking about how some of the things that he says, like they actually kind of correlate, because I remember him talking about the cabal. It was like on the news one time, and it was just like, oh my gosh, like the cabal, like you're saying, like there's a cabal of people that like you can't really remove them. They were never voted in or anything. And it sounded exactly like this group of people that were responsible for electrifying rural America. And this was in my agriculture class, so I was just like, oh my gosh, like Donald Trump might be onto something, because like he clearly knows something we don't. And then like every time somebody tries to discredit him, they always like bring up the fact that like, oh, he's been all over the political spectrum. And it's just like is that really not to discredit someone? Like if somebody's making sense and it's like all checking out, like let's be for real. If your local drunk is out here like, you know, spitting some like real facts, like are you seriously gonna like deny them because, oh well, that person's a drunk, but everything that they're saying is checking out and connecting all the dots? Are we really gonna be like that? Like, okay. But this is why you need to have like discernment and like, you know, full knowledge goes like real knowledge goes full circle. Like it's gonna make sense when all the things come together and like connect. Yeah, I should make a video about that class. But that's like my whole like thing is just like, yeah, I don't think this is gonna like work out because like you guys really don't know nor understand. And then she used this example about like, okay, like for example, like the wife used this example about like, okay, well, if I want to teach you soccer or whatever, would you rather learn soccer from me or a professional like Cristiano Ronaldo? And I was like, well, I mean, like, okay, they have really thick like Indian accents, so so I was just like, okay, so I mean, I would like rather like learn from you, because I mean, like, no offense to like the professional soccer player, I just seen like a lot of people like are classified as professionals and they're not really like all that professional. Like, this is like no, like, you know, thing towards a soccer like Cristiano Ronaldo or anything like that. Like, this is just an example in general. Like, just because somebody has a title, that does not mean that they're actually fully qualified. Even in college, for example, sometimes you have to think logically, okay, like, what does the professor want me to say? Because, like, for example, Christopher Columbus has like 3 different types of histories. Because you know how like they just sugarcoat everything and they slowly start talking about how like really sketchy and like sus American like history really is, and like, you know, just like how like gory and like, ooh, it's just like not, it's, history's never pretty. And yeah, but like Christopher Columbus, like, you know, he's projected as a hero one second, then they're saying, oh, he actually didn't discover America, but then some people actually still say that he did discover America, and some people say no, he actually discovered the Caribbean or Bahamas. Like, he didn't discover anywhere. Like, where he touched down, there was already people there, so he didn't discover anything. And also that the fact that he was like also killing people off too. But it's really about what, okay, so like you really have to ask yourself, in order for me to get an A, what does my professor believe? And I need to basically recite whatever he believes that history to be, because I can't sit here, I'm not going to sit here and say if he believes that Christopher Columbus discovered America and it's this like hero or whatever, I'm not going to sit here and talk about how Christopher Columbus was killing people off. That's going to be my grade. Like, be for real. Like, we need to be logical about this. So it's like really about, what do you want me to say so I can get this grade? Well, I'm not going to directly say that, but you know what I mean. But no, but that's how you have to think. Like, it's recite those lies so you can get that grade. Be for real. But then you have, when you actually look for these sources, that's what I'm saying, because you have like 3 different sources for some of the like, there's 3 different stories, so there's a bunch of sources like all over supporting all of these stories, right? And they have like 38 people peer reviewing this. Do you really think that those 38 people are actually professional? Especially when the like articles are really recent. That's exactly what I meant by like, it doesn't matter if someone has a title of being a professional. Like, that doesn't mean anything. Every professional comes from somewhere, like, you know. So there are people that are really professional and they're not deemed professional, or may not have the credentials to even say or claim that they are, but they know what they're talking about. So that's why I was saying that, like, you know, I wouldn't mind learning soccer from you compared to a professional. Because, like, you know, you could actually know more than that professional soccer player, even though that you haven't played. Like, yeah, some of the experiences may not be there, but like the technique and the skill, if you have it, you have it. And that's my whole point. And she was kind of like saying that, like, oh yeah, like, you're really naive if you want to learn soccer from me. And I was just like, I really didn't like that, because see, like, they don't really understand my logic. And on top of that too, like, I don't know, it's just like that meeting, like, really just like, I'm not vibing this anymore. Like, how dare you call me naive? And like, you are not like fully understanding like where I'm coming from and my choices. There was this like little conference or whatever, because like, mind you, the whole time I have not even heard of the name of of this program that I'm supposed to be being mentored for, and it's been 3 meetings. So I'm just like, ooh, I'm like really curious about this whole like thing. Like, let me just go to this last meeting, and then I'm gonna send them like cute little notes saying like, oh, I don't think that I'm a right fit for this, or like, you know, yeah. And tell me why. I get to the meeting, right, and there's nothing but a bunch of couples. Everyone's like melanated. either Indian or like African, or everybody has like thick accents, right? And I'm just like, huh, like this is so interesting. But the mentees, they got that look in their face like they're very like naive people, and they're like, everybody in here were like couples, and one couple spent like 30 minutes talking about how like they don't have jobs anymore, and they were talking about how, oh my gosh, like, yeah, like if you have a business, for example, like if you own a grocery store, you're not gonna go shopping at Walmart. You're gonna put your money back into your business, or you're gonna shop at your grocery store or your gas station if you own a gas station. And I was just like, okay, yeah, but like that's like you saying that like you run a business that you do taxes, right? Like, okay, yeah, you're gonna do your own taxes and like put that money back into your business. That's understandable. But how many businesses do you need in order to keep filling your pockets? Your money will have to eventually leave your vicinity at some point. And that's why I'm just like, this is not making sense. It was like, but okay, like I understand like what she meant, but like try to invest into your business as much as possible. But it's like, okay. But there were some people on there, I was like one of the youngest people. There was like one girl, she was like 18 or so, and so I'm like 22. Yeah, and I don't know, but it's just like a lot of the most of the people were like 30 and under. Not really 30. I don't even want to say some people's age, because there's some people that are from like the older generations and they look really like young for their age. It's like, what? You're 50? You're 40? My little sister, so she showed me this one girl's TikTok, and she was like, how old do you think she is? And I was like, she's 13, 14, or 27. And she was like, no, I said 14, 15, or 27. And she was like, no, she's 13. And I was just like, but you can't tell. And there's like vice versa. There's 27-year-olds that are giving 13, 14, like they're giving teenager in general. I'm just waiting to hear some facts. Like, it's mostly a testimonial like thing, and they kept saying, oh well, if you have enough points, if you talk to your mentors, you can see if you can go to the Georgia conference. Who's going to Georgia? What do you mean points? This isn't Weight Watchers. What is this? Just tell me, I need to know. My mentors are out here speaking to me and like trying to make it sound like they're super professional and stuff like that, and I'm just like, so what exactly is this? Because this isn't like making sense. Like, they're like the underdogs. They're like, oh yeah, they even said too, like, we're doing asset-based income, but we haven't, like, in the first meeting they literally said this to me, and they were like, we have been like putting our methods and practices, and for this mentorship they have been utilizing the knowledge that they have learned from their mentors, and they wanted to start mentoring people. But I'm just like, are you really qualified to mentor somebody if you haven't like really worked towards like literally quitting your jobs? But like they're like in tech and like, you know, business and stuff like that, so it's like yeah. And I was just like, okay, like that doesn't really make sense. Like, I'm thinking you guys are professional, like you can do this with the back of your hand. And I'm just like, huh, that's so interesting. But okay, so here's the thing, back to the whole like Rich Dad Poor Dad book thing, how I was telling you about how like the dollar was, and I was just like, that's the whole testimonial thing. And like a lot of the people, they were giving naive, like if you're trying to scam somebody or manipulate somebody, you're gonna choose like majority of these people. And I'm just like, I'm not built to be here, because you're not gonna sit here and try to play me. And then yeah, the Rich Dad Poor Dad thing, I'm just looking and I'm seeing like everybody is like South Asian or African, like everybody and their mother has some type of thick accent. And I'm just like, okay, so you have me read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, when they literally sit here and tell you that the American dollar has not been backed by the gold standard. Why are we only dealing with American banks and the American dollar? Shouldn't you be teaching people how to monopolize their money and like other Like, shouldn't we be learning about other currencies? Like, you know, foreign exchange, something like that. You would think. You would think. Or maybe even like crypto, like what's, like how can we like invest in foreign banks and stuff like that? So it was just not making sense. And I'm just like, huh, that's really interesting. Really interesting. Really interesting. I was really over the program because like, you don't sit here for 30 minutes and you can't tell me. I don't even know the name of the program. I still don't know the name of the program till this day. And this happened like earlier this year, 2023. So no thank you. Oh yeah, I won't continue to participate. So I literally sat there for like an hour and I'm just like, I literally could have been doing something with this hour. Like, I could have been like doing something with my time. Like, and my grandmother was saying too, like when people mentor, they usually help you find jobs and stuff like that. And I actually did ask the question of like, what are places that are hiring that I can utilize my degree in? Because I want to utilize my degree. Like, I literally chose my degree to add on to what I know. And this, like, my degree actually is very beneficial in like a lot of industries, so like there is no reason why I shouldn't have a job, literally. Like she's like, oh, you can like go and work in like one of the political offices or whatever, like they always need help there, and I'm pretty sure they have like jobs like within like, you know, people from like your field there too, like your county buildings for like whatever area you live in, like places like that, like in the realms of like politics and stuff, I guess. And I'm just like, I'm really not trying to get into politics. Like politics is interesting, but I'm not really like down for working in politics. Like, no thank you. Yeah, so I'm just, oh, battery's about to die. I'll be back. Yeah, the sun is kind of setting, so I changed the battery. Yeah, it's just like wasn't giving like mentor vibes, and like if you're spending so much time with someone, like they should be giving you some type of life advice. Like if you're struggling to find a job, they should be able to help you do that. Like, and even if they don't really understand like your degree or anything, they should be able to point you to some resources more than just saying like, oh, you should just sign up for this and do that. Like they should be able to send you some links or something like that, because like, yeah, like this after 18 people were knocking on your door for taxes and all types of money, so it's really like you shouldn't be playing games. Did I say after 18? I mean like when you turn 18, it just really seems like everybody's trying to hustle you for money. Like, wow. I just thought that like we could have like learned some, like there was an opportunity there to like for us to learn and be educated on like different banks and currencies and like how like world currency like flows together anyway. But I was just like, are we all reading the same book? I would assume that like my mentors would be like running the program, like the way that they were like speaking and stuff, but I just like don't think that like that. It kind of sounded a little hypocritical like when she called me like literally naive, and it's just like, wait, but you're not even like able to run the program. Like these people are saying that they like quit their jobs and stuff, but they were like, oh, it took time, like it's not gonna be like a immediate turnaround, it's gonna be like 5 years or so. And then you're talking about a point system, like this is Weight Watchers. No thank you. Something is not right here. Like I need things to happen today, right now, this moment. Like yeah, like I know that like things aren't gonna like happen like right away, like this moment, but like still, like you want 5 years, 5 years and like no like job. Like I'm telling you I just graduated and you're sitting here talking about asset-based income. That's gonna take a minute to grow. Yeah. But okay, so I sent them a cute little message, and I was like, yes, after being a part of the meeting and blah blah blah. I will literally post it. Hold up, let me find it. What's the app? Oh, most of our messages, we never really messaged like through like LinkedIn. It was like our initial messages were like LinkedIn, and then like after like our first initial meeting, we went to WhatsApp, which all of anybody that I've met that's like from the East they use WhatsApp. Like everybody like overseas, like all of the kids that were like international students, they use WhatsApp to like communicate with the family and stuff. So we're just like, huh, like that's so interesting. Ugh, sorry, the lighting is like I should really like lift up the window. Yeah, so now it's better. Yeah, okay, so I'm just gonna read it. So I was saying, no, and they were like kind of like hustling me. They were like, oh my gosh, are you in the conference? And I'm just like, yeah, I'm in the conference. Like, why are you like assuming I'm not in the conference? It's like, can you guys like, they weren't running the program. And like, it's not like, even, it wasn't a big deal that they weren't running the program, but it's just like, be for real. Like, what's going on here? So they was like, hi, and I was like, hello, I am in the conference. And they was like, hi, yes, we heard you, because we had to like introduce ourselves. And after the meeting, so like this was at like 7:53 like p.m. When did this happen? They don't tell you when this happened? Oh, so this was like February 14th 2023. And I was like, I would like to withdraw from the following meetings. This is not the proper program for my current, oh my gosh. Okay, so basically we were trying to say that this is not the best program for me like currently, and I would like to withdraw from the meetings. And I said, best of luck to you all on your journey, and I did a smiley face. And I said, and then they said, it's like, hi, how are you? Got your message. So this is February 15th, because I sent that at 9:33 p.m. on the 14th. And they got back to me at like 4:43 p.m. And they was like, hi, how are you? Got your message. Not sure what exactly made you think about what you mentioned. Like, I'm confused. I am very well aware. Thank you very much. Like, you know, I'm really thinking about going to law school, people. They need me. No, I'm kidding. I don't feel like I'm supposed to be a lawyer this time around, like, you know. But I mean, I would be a good one. Because I love the tea. Yeah, like government and law, like, ooh, like those classes, like, yeah, I really didn't take any law classes, but a lot of my classes were like law related, especially like my women and gender studies stuff. So it's like, oh my gosh, this lighting is so harsh now. Okay. Yeah, so they were like, I'm not sure exactly what made you think what you mentioned. We would suggest to meet one-on-one on Zoom, as we already planned to meet, and see if there's anything you missed out. Whatever is the reason, we would like to depart on our ways without any other intentions. Can you accept the invitation so we can connect and talk for a few minutes? We will see you at 8 p.m. And I was like, there is nothing missed. I said, there is nothing I missed in the meeting. I stayed from beginning to end and heard everyone clearly. Also, the information presented is not something new. The reason for canceling further meetings is just that. There are multiple ways to get to one answer, and to believe otherwise is not wise. I will no longer be available for the meetings as previously mentioned. Today I have an imperative appointment that cannot be changed. Best of luck to you all on your journey. Smiley face. And they said, great, wish you all the best for your future journey. Did they really just copy and paste my message? Oh no, okay, never mind, I'm just tripping. Okay, this lighting. Okay, this lighting. But yeah, they were like, literally, I'm just like, why do you think I'm so confused? Like, that really, and that's why I put the whole, like, it is not wise to assume that you can't get to an answer in multiple different ways. Because it's not, they even, like, have you thinking that in math class, like, growing up. It's just, like, you can literally get docked points, but you can actually get to answers in multiple ways. That's why, even with, like, how you, like, heal yourself with health, there's multiple, like, medicinal practices worldwide that can actually, like, help you Like, you don't just need to do Western medicine, and that's why I'm just like, but Westernized medicine, they do like to make money though, so that's something that you have to understand, like the foundation that everything is built on, so you can truly understand why your arm or your leg being repaired costs so much money, and why your $1 band-aid becomes $4 when you get asked for that itemized bill. Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. And you know what's so interesting too, like I would like to like have known them like on a more personal level too, because like the wife actually she's like into Ayurveda and like homemade stuff as well, because I mean like that's literally their culture. And so I'm just like, I literally love making stuff from scratch. Like I make hair masks, you guys can see on my channel, like I love that stuff. Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna go now. Bye everyone. See you later. No, I'll do another story time at a different time. But yeah, I just want to do that today.